Okay, so we're on to the next fallacy, and then make a little more space for us. Okay, so let's see. The next fallacy is called conflation of morality with legality. Okay. Now, some of you might not know what the word conflation means. Conflation just means like mixing up. So you're mixing up morality with legality. You might wonder, well, why use the fancy term conflation when you can just say mixing up morality with legality? Well, mixing up is more of a broader term. So, like when you mix up, you can mix up your baking ingredients or you're cooking it, you can mix those. But conflation is mixing up when it's applied specifically to words or concepts or word meanings. So that's conflation. Okay, now here's two ways conflation of morality with legality can happen. So it's making an assumption. So assuming that one, there's one of two options. If um, X is legal, then X is moral. Number two, if X is illegal, then X is immoral. Okay, so when might these be actually used in practice? So let's say you say to someone, "Hey, you shouldn't do that," whatever they're doing, and they say, "Why? Is it against the law?" They say it with some sass, and they say, "Because if it's not against the law, then it's okay." Okay. Now, what they're doing right there is assuming that if something's legal, then it's okay to do. Um, so let's say, why is it against the law? If it's not against the law, if it's legal, then they're not doing anything wrong. That's kind of the way they're assuming. For two, the second assumption, um, you might say to someone else, "Hey, you shouldn't do that. It's against the law." Uh, there, you're kind of assuming the flip. Like if something's illegal, then it's immoral, right? Okay, so let's think of some examples where actually neither of these claims hold. So why are those not? Why are those fallacious inferences? Um, well, if you look at page 253, so whoops. Okay, if you look at page 253, you can kind of see this is a very large paragraph here. They have a lot of good examples in there. Um, and so let's talk about them. So on page 253, they give the example of this will be relevant to the first point. If something's legal, then it's moral. Um, so there are actually legal things that aren't moral um, and are bad. So they give an example where, lying, okay, or breaking a promise, making fun of someone, not showing up for a date. Okay, okay. So let's just pick one of those, like lying. Um, Now, I think that's legal, but it would still be immoral to tell a lie, right? But if you were to lie, which is immoral, it doesn't mean that like I should call the police on you or try to get you fined or something like that. Okay, so the fact that something's legal, like lying, doesn't mean that it's immoral or even that it should be immoral. Okay, and that could be true for like making fun of someone or gossiping or talking about someone behind their back. These are all things that we think are legal and should be legal, but not immoral. Okay, let's talk about number two. If X is illegal, then X is immoral. Okay, and so they also use some other nice examples of that also on page 253. They use some religious examples or examples about clothes. I'll just talk about the example having to do with education of women. So, in some countries, it's actually illegal for women to be educated. Okay, it's been like that in history, and so, um, but does the fact that it's illegal make it immoral? No. In fact, even though it was illegal, it might have been the right thing to do to educate women. That just meant that the law was wrong. Okay. Um, so that's going to be another case where somebody might conflate morality with legality. Just because something's illegal doesn't mean that it's immoral or should be immoral. Um, okay, so but it's not that by saying this, it doesn't mean that there's no relationship between morality and legality. Like people say, you shouldn't legislate morality. Um, well, sometimes you should, and sometimes you shouldn't, right? Uh, Lying, yeah, let's not legislate that. That's too much. But killing people, yeah, let's legislate that, right? We should have laws. Now, what's the difference, and how do we tell? Uh, we can discuss that a little more in the Zoom session. And it's yeah, each either way is going to be a bad error to make to say we should never legislate any morality. That's too much, or we should make anything about morality. We should make laws about it. That's the other extreme. And sometimes I see that like anything we think is wrong, it's like oh let's make a law about it. That's too much the other way. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, we'll talk more about this in the Zoom session. Let's go on to the next fallacy.